the brass will be warm up a few more minutes. Go ahead. On your own. Keep going.
While the orchestra is continuing to calm up, could we have everybody in the audience try, if you can, move to the center so we can get as many people as we can in along the outside? So, if you could scoosh. I see some good scooshing out there too, so let's keep that up, yeah. Okay, you guys can go back to whatever you're doing. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I was going to say you're welcome to respond. Yes. It is a beautiful day here, isn't it? But I don't know, am I the only one who maybe wished for just a little bit more rain, a little bit more snow? Make sure those reservoirs are nice and full for the next year. Well, good afternoon, everyone. And on behalf of the Claremont Youth Symphony Orchestra, the Claremont Chorale, and the Artistic Mastery Collective Dance Ensemble, it's my sincere pleasure to welcome you this afternoon to this concert. My name is James Jenkins, and I'm going to be your host for what I know is going to be an enchanting, moving, and an exhilarating afternoon of music. Welcome to family, to friends, supporters, and all music lovers. May this be a time of both renewal and joy for all of you. What you're going to be experiencing today is actually very unique in several ways, and I'll be talking about it a little bit more about that as we move through the program, but just a quick glance at the program. You see all those names of all those people that have been brought together to put this concert on for you. This is, that in and of itself is a feat, trust me. Just the organizational part of that. But this is also the first time that all three student orchestras in the Claremont Youth Symphony program have been able to play together. That's very exciting to have them. Yes! It's also the first time that we have the pleasure of having the Claremont Chorale and the Claremont Youth Symphony Orchestra playing together, and the first time that we're going to be incorporating dance in any of these groups' performances. So that's just, yes. And I've got more tidbits I'll be giving you throughout the concert too. Just a couple of housekeeping things. Most of you passed the bathrooms when you were coming in, straight out the back doors and on either side of the lobby. We have a lot of things going on out in the lobby, as you probably already saw. We have a bake sale that is actually supporting the CYSO program. We also have a silent auction that's supporting the Claremont Chorale, so make sure you take a look at those baskets and put in a bid for those. Also, a couple of reminders that there is going to be a video of this entire concert that will be uploaded to the CYSO YouTube channel sometime in the next couple of days. So you don't need to record. I know you want to record, but you don't need to, so you'll have all of that. But what we want to make sure is that your cell phones are off. Nobody has to reach for their cell phone and turn it off. I am impressed. You've all been here before, right? And please no flash photography. And, you know, just distracting the rest of the audience. So you'll be able to see this in full on the YouTube channel. I think, applause. Do not hesitate to applaud. And you can applaud. Let me modify that statement a little bit. You can applaud enthusiastically when you are moved to. That's what I'm talking about. However, that stipulation only applies to the first half of our program. When we move into the second half of our program, with the several movements of the Requiem that we'll be playing, please do not applaud between the movements. Save all of your applause for that amazing work until the very end. And you'll know that because that's when the conductor stops waving his arms. So, all right, time to move on. Let's get to the music now. The first piece in this afternoon's concert is Aaron Copland's Fanfare for the Common Man. A little bit of background about that. Most of you probably have already heard it, even though you might not know what it was. In 1942, the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra commissioned Copland to write a fanfare for the 1942-1943 season as part of a series of fanfares that they were commissioning from other American composers. Initially, the commission asked Copland to create a musical tribute honoring the American soldiers who were recently sent to fight in the multiple battlefields of World II. So as Copeland began working on this piece, he actually listened to and was inspired by a speech by the vice president at that time, Henry Wallace. Everybody remember him? Yeah, me neither, but Copeland was inspired by this speech that Wallace entitled Century of the Common Man. So Copeland, as he began thinking about it more, he was actually moved to write a fanfare that not only honored the soldiers, those who were fighting on the front line, but also to honor those men and women who were working for victory off of the battlefield, in the factories, farms, offices, homes across the country. And he toyed with several titles, and he eventually came up with Fanfare for the Common Man. Another little interesting piece of trivia is that the Fanfare was previewed on March 12, 1943, 3 days before income taxes were due. And I think Copeland believed that if there's any place for a fanfare for the common man, it's this month, right before tax season. So anyway, this is a fantastic piece, and I want you to welcome our brass ensemble with Cherry Cole directing. Our next piece is the first movement of Mozart's Eine kleine Nachtmusik, which is probably also familiar to many of you, even though you might not know the name. This entire piece consisted of 4 movements. Originally, it was completed in Vienna in 1787, but it wasn't published until 1827, 36 years after Mozart's death. Nachtmusik is actually a term that means any piece of music that's played or sung in the open air at night. Nachtmusik. The custom was to invite friends over to your salon, give them a lavish dinner, and then invite a small chamber group, sometimes even the composer himself, to play outdoors whatever piece of music they were bringing. Technically, this particular piece is actually a work that's called a serenade. In fact, it's also known as Serenade number 13 for strings in G major, number 525. Originally written for 2 violins, a viola, a cello, and a double bass, it was popular in its day, and it remains so now, although most of the time when you hear it, it's usually with a larger string orchestra. But here's what makes this particular piece unique today. What you're about to see is something that I don't think I've ever seen done before, but our own Kristen Simpson, she's the music director for the Enharmonic Strings and assistant director for both the Prelude Symphonic Ensemble and the Claremont Youth Symphony Orchestra, has written additional parts, not just the string parts, but additional parts for brass, percussion, and woodwinds that allows these musicians to play a piece of music that they would not otherwise actually be able to play. So at this time, I'd like you to welcome the Prelude Symphonic Ensemble and the Enharmonic Strings, directed by Matthew Keating. How'd you like to have that playing on your porch when you wake up in the morning? That was remarkable. Thank you. Absolutely remarkable. As we reset our stage to move to our next piece, we have some students who are going to be coming around literally with hat in hand. And if you're able to contribute, you guys can go ahead and go. If you're able to contribute, just raise your hand. No donation is too small. Or you can lift up that small child that's next to you, just so that they see you. Just don't put the child in the hat as it comes through. We encourage you to be generous, but remember, hold on to some of that very precious cash for the bake sale. And also the silent auction, too, that's coming. Thank you all. While we're resetting, let me give you some more information about sort of the uniqueness of what you're watching today. One of the things that you see is you're going to see several ensemble or chamber groups that are formed out of the larger orchestras. Although you might be used to seeing this in classical settings, this is not common for a youth orchestra to have these smaller groups that break out of the larger ones. It's very uncommon because, first of all, it requires a core set of talented kids to be able to do that, plus extra resources in both teachers and students' time. So it's not a common thing to see. But the opportunity to play in these smaller ensembles is just another way that the Claremont Community School of Music provides a variety of opportunities for these students to be challenged and especially to excel. As you see, we have a wide variety of students and ages, abilities playing this afternoon. Our youngest, 4th grade, am I right? Yeah, and our oldest is in college. That's quite a span. That's quite a span of skill, that's quite a span of ability, and also time commitment. You also notice that we have teachers, professional musicians, playing with the students as well. This is a real important aspect of what the Claremont Community School of Music does. By being able to combine this diversity of age and talent, and to have the students actually performing with veteran musicians when they're working and performing, means that they're actually immersed with and are collaborating with professionals. And this allows the students to get a realistic and a more accessible understanding of what professional experience in music actually looks like. An understanding that younger students, especially, really never get to develop. So, part of the other dynamic with having professional musicians playing with the students, and even with the older students, who are also more experienced players, is that they're challenged to get better. That's just a natural result of what happens. Watching more experienced players tackle difficult passages in pieces, for example, can provide clues to the younger and more inexperienced players on how to approach these difficult passages. And it provides sort of an organic motivation for them, as well as a pathway for improvement, because they can see how it's done. It's kind of a way to sort of, in a natural way, to take things up a notch, if you get my meaning. Although one of the larger goals of this program is not necessarily creating professional musicians out of everyone who participates in it. The creation of community, however, is very intentional on the part of the staff. Not only a true community of music, but also a social community of hopefully well-rounded individuals who learn how to problem solve and work together, collaborate with each other toward an ideal and a vision of excellence. In order to do this, students need to develop both a positive humility, which I know I could use a little of myself, which is just basically a willingness to learn, as well as empathy for others. So realizing that everyone is at a different point in their skill level, these personal characteristics and collaboration support the hallmarks of not only successful musicians, but healthy adults. So that makes this an extremely special program. Let's move on to our next piece. The Gypsy song, which some of you may or may not know, is a song that comes from the second act of Georges Bizet's Carmen. And it's a song where Carmen is singing with her two friends in a tavern, very loudly, extremely wildly. And the song it's actually based on some Romani folk music, Romani being Gypsy folk music, that Bizet used all throughout his opera. But in this particular song, it's especially crucial for the storyline, because one of the themes in this opera is that passionate, sensual feelings can actually lead to disaster, which is sort of what happens at the end. I won't spoil the end for you. It doesn't turn out well. But this particular song, which is sort of a wild dancing number that Carmen sings, it's a chance for her to put her full seduction and passion on display. And it helps to heighten this theme of the power of sensuality and passion. So, this piece is going to be played by our woodwind ensemble, and it's actually student directed. So let's welcome them, please. you. Our last piece in the first half of our concert today, O Magnum Mysterium. This is a very interesting piece. It's actually based on a 10th century Gregorian chant for Christmas. And it's a reflection on the mystery of Jesus' birth and the presence of the animals, specifically the animals in the manger, the first living beings besides Mary and Joseph who saw the baby Jesus. And over the centuries, it's had adaptations of that text written mostly for choral music many, many, many times. And one of probably the most famous and the one that's probably one of the most popular was one that was actually written in our lifetime, well, my lifetime, 1994. I know that doesn't include everybody in the room, but it's pretty close. This choral arrangement for four-part choir was written by Morton Lardson, who is an American choral composer, and it was written in 1994 in a response to a commission from Marshall Rutter, who was the artistic director of the Los Angeles Master Chorale, and it was written for Rutter's wife, Terry Knowles. Now, again, because this is a day of very unique happenings in this concert setting, what makes this particular performance unique is that we've adapted Lawrence's choral parts to brass. So instead of it being a choral piece, this is going to be played by our brass ensemble, Sherry Coltrane. Sherry and the ensemble, thank you all for that. That is an exquisite piece of music. Thank you. We're going to bring back our musicians from this first half, and we'd like to acknowledge them. This is going to be the Prelude String Ensemble, the Enharmonic Strings, our brass, and our woodwind ensembles. We're going to bring them up so that we can acknowledge them. Absolutely amazing. Thank you all. Thank you all so much for your hard work. We know how much time this actually took, and you have just blessed us totally today. Thank you so much. We're now going to take a 15-minute break. Just a couple of reminders that we do have the bake sale and the silent auction going on back there. I'm going to give you a kind of a 5-minute warning when we're ready to start, and then a 2-minute warning. And after that, there are no more warnings. So go out, enjoy, catch a breath, buy some goodies. We'll see you back here in 15 minutes.
Yes, sure, really quick. We got to set up. Nice job today. Great job.
We are at 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Two minutes. We are at 2 minutes.
Where's the breath? Again? Straight?
Hello, hello, welcome back everybody. Welcome to the second half of our program. I'm Stephanie Knoll, I'm the president of the Claremont Chorale, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to the Mozart Requiem portion of our concert. So we're so excited about this collaboration that we put together between the CYSO and the Claremont Chorale and the Artistic Mastery Collective Dance Ensemble. It's a new thing for all of us, so we're really excited about it. I am excited in particular because I am the proud parent of one of the members of one of the orchestras. He's not in this one, but so I'm part of both groups, which is exciting to me. And we just want to thank you for all of your generous donations. Thank you for your presence today. And we hope to see you at future concerts. There is a little thing about future concerts we have coming up on the first page of the program. We have a Motown concert on June 7th. That's the Claremont Chorale. And then there's a little blurb about our concerts next season. We also have sponsors, program sponsors on the back. So these are businesses that are supporting us, so you can check those out and support those businesses too. So I just want to remind you all, in case you turned your cell phone sound on during the intermission, please turn it back off so that it won't interrupt our program. And one more reminder, the Mozart Requiem is one long piece, so Between movements, our director will have his arms up, so don't clap until the end. And now I want to present our maestro, Dr. Alan Wellman.
Wow, look at this hall filled. We are so glad that you're here. You know, it's been such a joy rehearsing this music. But, you know, before I get started, those of you who have been to a Claremont Chorale concert in the past, you know, the reveal is always a big deal. Now, unfortunately today, this is the best I could do, you know. It's not the most glamorous costume, but it's certainly the most expensive. And it's because, you see, it's the buttons. You see, the buttons are real diamonds, but more importantly, they spell my name out. So it's tax deductible, you know. So if you gotta start at the vest, it goes A-L-A-N-W-E-L-L-M-A-N. Are you looking at the buttons? A-N, all right? Well, listen, this has been just such a joy to put this concert together. We have, over a year ago, Matt Keating and I came together to discuss the opportunity and the options and the music. And layer by layer by layer by layer, we started to see this beautiful performance unfold. We're excited to have the Artistic Mastery Collection presenting some movement for the show. Working the last few weeks with this orchestra has just been such a joy. Can we give these students and their teachers a big round of applause? Again, I am just so humbled and delighted to be here with you this evening, and thank you for taking the time to come and hear this concert. You're in for a real treat. You're in for a real treat. On behalf of Matthew Keating, myself, the Claremont Chorale, and the Claremont Youth Symphony Orchestra, welcome to the Mozart Requiem. We heard Stephanie's announcements. It's going to be one continuous movement after another. There may be a pause or two just to allow for page turns and for soloists and dancers to get back into their place. But we would appreciate your attention without the applause until the very end. And at the very end, jump to your feet, yell, hoot, and holler, because you're going to be quite overwhelmed and impressed. So here is Mozart's Requiem.
In quantum patronem exaldisti, mihi quoque splendidisti, preges
Thank you.
venit in nomine Domini. Benedictus qui venit in nomine Domini.
Benedictus qui venit
Domini.
Yeah, you can keep clapping if you want. That's what. What's that? Oh, the dancers. Yes, please. Artistic Mastery Collective. Thank you. Absolutely, thank you. That was amazing. That was amazing. Wow. We do have a couple of last announcements to make, especially for the people who've been on the silent auction, but I don't want to leave that space yet. I don't know about you. It's not rare, but I think it's always special when we experience beauty in any form. And I think today you heard what beauty sounds like. It filled this space and it changed us. We're not leaving this space as the same people that we came in. And you know, I think, although I'm sure that some people may take exception to the fact, I think there's always two things that we can do in the world to make it better. And I'm sure there's more. One of those things is to be kind to one another. Practice kindness wherever we are. The other thing is to use our gifts to release beauty into the world. That's exactly what we experienced today. It wasn't hard to accept, was it? It was hard to get to this point. All of these artists worked hours and hours and hours to get to the point where they could actually do that for us. And we are very grateful to you. I think a goal for all of us could be not only that kindness, but to make sure that we leave beauty behind wherever we go. It's a refuge. It's a haven. It's inspiring. It's uplifting. It's energizing. It's soothing. It's healing. And you might not know what your gifts are. You might. If you think your gifts are artistic, maybe you were inspired by what you heard and saw today. Maybe you thought, I'd like to learn how to dance. I'd like to sing in the Claremont Chorale. I'd like to take lessons from even at my age. I took piano lessons at Claremont Community School of Music in my late 50s and early 60s. Yes, I'm that old. And it was probably the biggest blessing of my life. You have children whose gifts aren't even unlocked yet. Send them to CCSM. Get them enrolled in classes. Allow them to do the same thing that these artists got to do with us today. Whatever you think you might have inside, you owe it to yourself and to the rest of us to explore it. You could be one of these people that helps unlock this space. Just wanted to send that with you as you went, because this is a very, unfortunately, unusual, but just a real gift to be in this space today. So thank you to all the artists. Thank you for all those who came. Okay. It's hard to segue out of that, isn't it? I know. But we do have some people who have won some baskets. Maybe their gift is guessing the price of things and knowing how to bid. Use it. Use the gift. So I'm going to announce the people who have won and the gift, and I'm going to give these papers back to Heather. If you could pick these up from her to go and claim your basket, that would be great. So the Tea Time Relax. Is it Lita Schneider? Where are you? Are you still here?